Hello there, my beautiful souls. Welcome on in. So as you can see, we're beginning the specific daily reading with three main good tarot energies on the board. And so they all are very positive in energy. But as you can see, we're beginning on the left-hand side with Fortune's Wheel, in the center, the Six of Earth, and then the Fool card. So what Spirit's saying overall is this is a day where you're meant to be receiving, okay? It's a day where the wheel is meant to turn in your fortunate favor. But it feels like this collective rewinding back to be completely real with you. What I'm getting is that you have put in so much effort to the point where it doesn't match up to the amount that you've received as far as abundance goes. Does that make sense? It feels like you put in more effort than, you've been receiving, like I just said. And so now it's a time where you may feel like Spirit in the universe is kind of helping you make up for a lack there of receiving. And so you may feel like you're gaining more than you're actually putting forth, while they're saying overall, if you take a step back and again, you remember all of the efforts previous to this day period, it's not like you actually overall are putting in less effort, but you're going to be receiving regardless. Now, I feel it's a day where you really want to bring a heartwarming energy to something. Now, it could be more than one situation. I'm getting two situations at most, if that's applicable, but I'm getting this from the heart here, where they're saying that your warmth, your caring energy, your compassion, your positive outlook, all the meanwhile, will easily bring this energy to that situation or two, that ends up being for you. Anyways, as I do space out a bit, it feels like when maybe there's a random focusing moment on something negative or imperfect or bad in energy, it feels like you're going to, naturally realign your focus. But you might even find that a spirit or two helps you, keywording, helps you space out a bit, okay? Drift away for a hot second, and you might even gain a message or a vision of importance otherwise. But the point is, we're not going to let you focus on what's going to, one, ruin your energy, but two, take away from this beautiful, what feels to be new energy as we move on to the Fool card. And so this day, regardless of which one it's meant to speak upon for you specifically, is, like we said, meant to bring you this sort of fresh energy, this sense of, infinite possibilities, as in being shown naturally a vision of, I'm hearing a trumpet, but I was getting a vision of an infinity symbol. Now, what Spirit is saying, regardless of the actual weather, there's the energy of the sun shining down upon you at this time. It feels like you're going to want to create, again, this loving warmth and maybe even comforting, successful energy within your life. But it also feels like there's sort of this warmth being kind of guided towards you. There's this warm energy, this comforting, connecting, I want to say, that's going to be created by Spirit so that you can feel the warmth of other souls. So you can feel that other than how you have been and are otherwise feeling it throughout this day. Does that make sense? I'm so sorry about my voice. But it feels like you're needing to just kind of push past little struggles. I didn't say it was going to be a perfect day, but it's going to be a rewarding one, to say the very least. It's going to be, I want to say, a life-changing day. But you're going to feel like Spirit's saying that you don't need to quiet your voice. You don't need to silence yourself. You don't need to second-guess yourself. It's about singing your individual song, and maybe, selectively Spirit song, and making sure that when you do so, it's done with conviction, it's done with confidence, and there's no questioning taking place in the midst of it. But I do feel all the meanwhile there's certain random images being pointed out. Like, I'm being pointed to notice the antlers here. You could see a random sun. You could see hearts, instruments, different types of stars is what I'm getting, random designs. And so Spirit's saying we're not only here to help, but we're here to gift you random moments of enjoyment, maybe random moments of creativity, important distraction once again. But it's a day where you are being reminded energy affects you, right? And as I feel like I've already been reading for this collective for 10, 12, 15 minutes, it's only been a little over 5. And so we're being reminded once again, we're in the heat of Mercury retrograde where time crawls, you know? But given my voice is kind of off right now, I'm going to take a second. From everything you've created and succeeded with up until this point, we then utilize to create more and more magic, more and more abundance otherwise within your worlds moving forward. That was pretty much the channeled message I just got. And so basically that was part of the reasoning why I had to take a second. But you can hear how my voice is doing a hell of a lot better since I took, I want to say, less than a minute in between, recording both parts of the reading. And so they're saying when you need to take a second, when you can hear this in your own voice, or you can see this in your own energy, your own mannerisms, the way you're doing things, maybe because you're holding back, take a second, do what you know you need to do. While when I took a second, I not only took a deep breath, but I cleansed my energy. I typically have my Palo Santo to my side, but knowing yourself best, once again, take a second when need be, because you will thank yourself in the end. Let's pull a couple more cards. Let's do some Gilded. I'm really feeling a lot at this time, and it reminds me of last night at my serving job. One of my new coworkers, she was saying, I don't know why recently, including today, I've just been feeling a lot. I've been feeling things so, deeply and whatnot. And I'm, sitting there nodding my head, thinking it's Mercury retrograde. It's time for people to feel things deeply. It's time for things to be slowed down, but become the right kind of productive, while it just feels like the days are, including this day period, are being elongated, stretched out. And it isn't the first time I'm mentioning this, but it's popping up in this reading again, for a reason. But what else do we have for my beautiful souls? The Eight of Pentacles, the King of Pentacles, and the Queen of Wands. You're coming off very passionate. There's something about you reminding other people energetically, and even in moments when you hold back, that you can be this ultra passionate individual, with the largest heart and whatnot, while still being chill and grounded and even at times minimal in effort. Does that make sense? And so I really feel that you're reshaping people's viewpoint of what it means to be a Queen of Wands. Okay. And then the Eight of Swords over here is saying, the Eight of Wands is saying that you're doing a lot of talking, okay? Whether it's a lot of internal speaking and or with spirit, whoever else you look up to or look to. It could be, something like I'm doing. But I do feel for some of you, there's a lot of talking to yourself out loud. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I feel, you're going to need to remember that's more spiritually created. It's a spirit speaking through you in that moment, creating that. And it's not you. Anyways. But ooh, look at this. The Hierophant, as well as, again, the Eight of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles. So I feel like this is a day where you're going to experience what we've been saying, once again, this Fool-like energy taking over. But it's like this change in the wind, this change in the air. You're wanting to create change. You're wanting to do a bit more than you have been. And now it's time to create, and I'm hearing magic all the meanwhile, but it's time to want to turn that wheel in your favor. It's time to adjust your fortune. And so it feels like maybe there's a little bit of a focus on what you've been lacking, but they're saying all the meanwhile, what's happening is you're transitioning, shifting into a period of unlimited opportunities, unlimited abundance, and resources otherwise. But it just feels like you're going to be noticed for being really advanced in whatever you're doing throughout this day. There's something about that being part of why you're receiving these accolades or these abundance these forms of abundance otherwise. Wow. As I truly struggle at this point, I kind of want to leave your reading at that. I hope these messages were truly helpful. I will see you in your next daily read. Take care.